from extreme roller skating, covered in a million bees, and a record so impossible it will never be broken. Those are just a few of the 22 unbreakable world records included in this video. And first, we've got someone with more strength in a single finger than most of us have in our two arms combined. This guy broke the record by doing 45 one-finger push-ups in 30 seconds. Damn! Talk about having your hands registered as lethal weapons. But if you thought having strong fingers was impressive, imagine the strength and flexibility needed to pull this off. How do you even figure out you can do something like that? It's like discovering you've got rubber bands for bones and wheels for feet. And not only did he do some serious multitasking, he also limbo skated 145 meters beneath poles just 30 centimeters high. I mean, he basically just morphed himself into a vehicle. He's not the only attempt was like a projectile hurtling down to Earth. And there were a lot of them. Watch the car, watch the... Oh, that's gonna leave a mark. But after 4 days and 25 hours of total attempts,
this is the world's highest basketball shot.
they finally sunk it in from 856 feet up in the air. But hey, they're not the only ones playing with gravity, because here's a truck that looks more comfortable airborne than having its wheels on the ground. What better reason is there to build an entire town than to launch a pickup truck 379 feet over the length of it? I know they say Red Bull gives you wings, but have they been replacing the gas with it too? If you don't have wings, or arms for that matter, then having feet like he does is the ultimate superpower. And he's not just a hands-free driver.
1,000 laps right now.
The team over at BMW wanted to complete the longest vehicle drift in existence on a never-ending donut. Not the sweet kind, though, because on the 223-mile circuit, 5 fuel refills were needed over the course of the day. And if you're wondering how they refueled, yeah, they didn't stop for that either. Okay, so we've seen 8-hour-long drifts, driving with feet, and jumping over a whole freaking town. But what if we raise the stakes and switch up the vehicle a little? Just like a fish out of water, it was out of the slopes and into the air, smashing the distance for the longest snowmobile jump with 412 feet. It's hard to believe that this is even real.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
But just like a snowmobile doesn't belong in the air, a tightrope shouldn't be anywhere near the road either. And sure, circus gymnastics can be cool, but why don't we put these acrobatics to a real test by putting their lives on the line every day? And you don't see unicycles like this every day either. I mean, look at that thing. It's basically sightseeing on the move, except with a lot more anxiety.
I want to do something that no one else in the world is doing.
But if unicycles weren't already daring enough, here's a 30-foot tall one called the Tower of Death. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going near anything that has the word death in its name. What's more, this attempt was deemed too crazy to be officially recognized. That alone speaks for itself. But if you thought that sounds crazy, this guy went the speed of a car.
That's 89.41.
On a skateboard, down a hill, without anything strapping him down. Think about it. It's just one tiny rock or pothole at 90 miles per hour, and it's lights out. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, though. Besser.
This is the most dangerous thing what I ever done.
It's not just me who double-checked the seatbelt on roller coaster rides, right? You know, just in case. Well, this guy checked everything and made sure to ignore them completely. Then he ditched the seatbelts, as well as the whole seating arrangement and carriage, and went fully solo on his skates.
With each hill, the speed builds.
56 miles an hour.
With each turn, the punishing G's get harder to fight.
He's lost the plot. Somebody stop him! And since we're on the topic of having cojones of steel, we gotta talk about the human cannonball. Warning, this is a trained professional in a controlled environment. Do not attempt. Like, seriously, leave this stuff to the pros. I mean, this gives a whole new meaning of firing live rounds. And if the human ammunition part wasn't crazy enough, well, he also blasted himself through a ring of fire. Let's be real, a stunt like that when even comes to breaking records can go a long way. But this is going overboard, isn't it? Probably not as overboard as the records coming up though, like this wingsuit flight through a cave. Jumping from a plane without a parachute, and a record so out of this world, I might get in trouble for showing you. But look, whether you're the world's first at that or at this, let's not discriminate, guys. Both are as impressive as the other. Did he just base jump into another plane? Jesus. A million bees was terrifying, but base jumping into a moving plane mid-flight is insane. That landing did look nice though. I bet James Bond and Tom Cruise are taking notes. But here's something that could never make its way to the silver screen. When it comes to having pinpoint accuracy, people usually think of hitting targets, but the point here was 2 tunnels. And his pin was a plane. Now that's having tunnel vision. He just brought a GTA stunt. This might just be one of the few times where wearing a helmet is completely useless. But when you can fly through the air this skillfully, there's no such thing as a gap too tight. But what's more intense? That or this? Anyone 172 feet high up would usually need to be attached to some sort of safety harness. But what if I were to tell you he's not just taking in the views, he's gonna become the view?
Just falls. Oh, he's got to hold it. He's moving a little too fast. Oh, he punched through. Good dive.
And I don't know about you, but I think anyone who's prepared to dive about 105 feet per second deserves the Medal of Bravery. But there's no trust fall out there quite like this one. The most important thing to remember when you go skydiving is definitely a parachute. But he deliberately left his behind and went solo 25,000 feet from the air. Seriously? Who comes up with this stuff? And even more, who approves them? This is one thing you do not want to miscalculate. But look, perfect accuracy.